If you want to build a modern SaaS, a creator platform, a TikTok clone in Next.js 16, you are going to hit a wall immediately. I see developers constantly trying to build media apps by simply throwing 50 megabytes MP4 files and massive PNGs into a S3 bucket and serving them directly to the user. It's a terrible idea. Your app will crawl, your lighthouse score will tank, and your mobile users will sit right there watching a loading spinner. So today we are going to build and deploy a production-ready media feed. I'm going to whiteboard show you exactly how big tech like Netflix handles streaming video, and then we are going to write the code. We are going to plan first and then code, just like senior engineers would. And a huge shout out to ImageKit for sponsoring this specific build. So let's get into it. So now here's the problem. If a user on a bad 4G network asks a server for a video and you are going to send a raw MP4 file, they are going to choke. Netflix and TikTok uses HLS adaptive bitrate streaming. The video quality dynamically shifts based on the user's internet. That's exactly what the image component does in Next.js as well. Depending on the size and your device, it serves a different quality image. That's exactly what this one does too. To do this yourself, you need to build complex FFmpeg transcoding servers. We're not going to do that. We are going to use an API from a sponsor, ImageKit. They are a complete media processing API. They handle all of this at the edge. You don't even need to move the database. They have a AI-powered DAM, but you can plug ImageKit directly into your existing AWS S3 bucket. If you look at their API, you want to resize an image, add a URL parameter, but it gets crazier. They also do AI smart cropping, dynamic watermarks, and most importantly, they convert your videos into HLS streams instantly, which is incredible. We are going to use this Next.js SDK to build our feed today. I'll be doing all of this in their forever free plan, so you can click the custom link in my description below to get started, to grab your free account so we could start writing code together. So let's cover the architecture a little bit of the app you're building. First of all, let's take a look at what the problem is. As a user opens up their app on their phone and they have 4G signals, but they have a 4G signal with 2 bars, your Next.js server is gonna ask S3 for a video. Let's say you're rendering a bunch of videos here. It's a raw file. S3 hands back the full raw file, which could be like a 1 gigabyte file or more. Next.js then pipes it to the phone, and the phone is then going to try to download all 1 gig before it can play smoothly. It is definitely going to choke. This is not a hosting problem. You just cannot beat physics. If a user has 2 megabytes per second, and your file needs 8, it is going to buffer, period. So how do platforms like Netflix or TikTok do it? They don't just send it in one file. They use something called as HLS, which is adaptive bitrate streaming. Here's how it actually works. So the source code video gets chopped into 2-second chunks, and it gets chopped at 4 different quality levels. You can think of it like 1080p quality, 720p, 480p, and 240p. These 4 quality levels are for the same video. So you get 4 versions. Then a manifest file as well gets sent, which is going to be then a manifest file, a M3U8 file will also get sent that lists every chunk that lives there. The player is then going to read the manifest file, starts at a medium quality, maybe at 720p, and it's going to measure your bandwidth in real time. If your signal drops, it's going to ask for a 480p file. Signal comes back, it asks for a 1080p. So this way you never see a spinner and the quality just shifts. That feedback loop right there, that's the whole game. So how do you do all of this yourself? Like this chunking that I talked about, measuring the user's network speed, their bandwidth, if the signal drops, swapping it with a better quality file. Well, typically you would have to run a FFmpeg transcoding server. You write the encoding pipelines, and you have to manage storage for all 4 versions of every video. You push the chunks to a CDN. But here's the thing. We don't want to do any of that because I have an amazing service that is also the sponsor of today's video that we are going to use called ImageKit. We are going to use their API to give us everything we need and build a production-ready application similar to what TikTok or Netflix or any of these websites do. So what exactly is ImageKit? ImageKit is an image and video API that helps optimize, transform, manage, and deliver media assets so developers can ship faster, marketers can iterate freely, and your users can enjoy flawlessly visual experiences everywhere. And truly, after my experience too, I think they are definitely up to something. They truly transform images and videos for the web. It also comes with an AI powered DAM and can also work with your own cloud storage such as Amazon S3, Azure, GCP, web servers, and more. ImageKit can automatically compress and convert not only videos but also images to a suitable format for every device. They can truly transform and adapt media assets. It offers more than 50 plus URL based transformations for your videos and images, from simple resizing and cropping to more advanced features like AI based crop and watermarking or HLS or dash streaming. All you need to do is append specific parameters in your URL. If you want to resize this image, then you can append this parameter. The transformation parameter to the asset URL will do the rest of the job for you. And as you can see, this is the original image and this becomes the resized image, and they're going to take care of all that for you. On top of that, they also offer a variety of different SDKs depending on the framework you're using. We will use Next.js on their generous forever free plan. So if we go to their pricing, they have a forever free plan that's great for us as we build with them as well. So you don't have to pay a single dollar out of your pocket until you are ready to scale up and you need these capabilities. But their forever free plan is amazing. I'll show you, and we'll get started by building with this and using their forever free plan as well. But to use a specific SDK, we could simply just go to the Next.js ImageKit SDK, install it, and get started. Again, I'm going to walk you through everything step by step. Now, going back to the production way, there are 3 things that matter. 1, your S3 stays put. You don't migrate anything. You point ImageKit at your existing bucket and you're done. 2, ImageKit does the transcoding and transforming. So you're just going to upload a video and ImageKit generates the HLS ladder, for example. It writes the manifest file like I told you about, which has all these different URLs for different videos. And it's going to push those chunks to its global CDN on the edge. You're going to consume all of this with one React component, with just one component. You can just simply drop this component into your Next.js app, point it at the manifest URL, and it's going to stream adaptively on any device, on any network. And that's the real architecture when it comes to building apps like Netflix or TikTok and so on. If you ever were to think, I'm going to download 1 gigabyte or more, if you're downloading a giant movie, like 10 gigabytes of file on a user's device, without even checking what their network speed or bandwidth looks like, honestly, that's terrible. That's really bad. So this solution is how you build a production-ready media feed as well. Let me show you what we're going to build, and then we can slowly start adding code as well. So we are going to build an app that's similar to TikTok. It looks very similar. I will be providing you a bunch of components so we can focus on more production-ready aspects and focus more on how you could optimize the performance of our media feed. So for instance, as we scroll down, all these videos are essentially getting rendered. And each of these videos are sending us a URL, a manifest file, and depending on my bandwidth and network, we are going to essentially serve that as well. We are going to build a variety of features such as image cropping, watermark overlays, how to do all of that in the most performance optimized way possible. So without further ado, let's dive in. So first of all, if you have not already, make sure to check out the GitHub repo linked in the comments in the description below. That repo has everything you need to get started. When you clone that repo, you are going to see something like this one. First of all, I want you to fork that repo so that you make your own copy and then clone that specific copy, which will have these changes exactly. So now, as you can see, we are rendering the video just like over here right now. So now this is what happens. For instance, in this specific application, let's go to the browser network tab. And as we do, let's filter by all. And you are going to see that all the MP4 videos are essentially a one get call. They get downloaded, and you can see how massive these videos are as well. So if I filter by MP4, you're gonna see all these videos essentially getting downloaded, just as one file. It doesn't matter if the user has bad network or not. So let's go to So4G, and I'm going to refresh the page. You can already see the black overlay here. You don't want your users to experience something like this, right? Like, check this out. It took like a second for the videos to get rendered. But I have a high-speed internet. I am on Wi-Fi. I'm at home. You also have to think about users that have a mobile device. They don't have the best network and so on too. For example, if you're on TikTok or even like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, we're not necessarily going to have Wi-Fi all the time. Sometimes, a lot of the times we're out and about, and that's when we also need to care about it as well. So now the first step for us to do is to fix this. And for that, let's just go ahead to ImageKit and start integrating it so that we know exactly what we need to do. So first off, let's just go to Get Started and go for their forever free plan. For low traffic websites and apps, side projects, or just testing with all the essential features, you get this, and that's incredible. That's honestly insane in terms of their forever free plan. I have not seen a plan as generous as this one before. But anyway, let's just click on Get Started, and this is where you could sign in with Google or whatever, or you could just simply enter your email and sign up there. I'm just gonna go ahead and log in because I already have an account. I just signed in, and this way they give you like this checklist so that you could literally follow this step by step, upload the file, set up and verify your URL endpoint, and so on. So if we go here and go to the URL endpoint section, you could just simply go ahead and create a new endpoint, and this becomes your new endpoint. For instance, I can just say Ankita, or my last name, first name, whatever you want to call it. You could use that as an identifier. Then the description would be TikTok feed, or let's just call this video feed, for instance. And then that's it. That's all you need to do here. Save. And you could simply use this specific endpoint here as well if you like, or you could just use the default endpoint as well if one doesn't already exist. If you don't have an endpoint like this one, you could just go ahead and create one over here. All you simply need to do is enter your identifier over here, default URL endpoint, and then press save. Once you do, you will have an endpoint like this one. This could be whatever identifier you want as well. So if you want that, you could totally use that too. Anyway, we need an URL endpoint so we could start pointing it over there. Now, if we go back to getting started, we could simply just go to the quick start guide and then follow along our Next.js setup to essentially use a bunch of the components that they already provide out of the box. So we could simply use it. Then we could also just transform and stream images and videos, because ImageKit offers 50 plus URL based transformations. So what's cool is that you could like add specific transformation in the URL, and then it will automatically just do the job for you. So for instance, if you want to resize the image, to resize this image to 300 pixel, you just need to add TRW300 and H300 as well. Same transformation can also be passed as a query parameter too as well. So again, all this is great. Just wanted to show you some things that we could do here. Once we are ready to go, we could mark this checklist as complete and then go live. And this way you can already see my usage and track accordingly as well. But anyway, we can hide this checklist for now because I'm going to show you everything step by step. So as I refresh the page, watch what happens. This is black screen, black. So black frame before the video loads. So the profile page has no preview grid whatsoever. So if you were to generate a thumbnail for this, normally you would have to use a tool called as FFmpeg, which is an amazing tool. However, its API is very complicated, I must say. I've tried to use this tool before. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it is very complex. It's a really powerful tool. So let's just solve this issue right now. So for that, now that we have an ImageKit account, let's just head over to the Next.js SDK, copy this and install it locally. You could use npm or yarn, whatever you want. As we do that, let's stop the server and don't want to copy both, but just copy this one, ImageKit/Snacks. This is a package we need to get ImageKit in our system. Perfect. Now that we did that, let's restart our server again, right? And let me quickly walk you through the code base as well so that you know exactly what's going on. So let's go here and install. ImageKit, which is at ImageKit/Next. There we go. And now that we have done that, let's just restart the server. And now let's go ahead and add ImageKit using the SDK. So first of all, as you can see, we need to use the image component or the video component that are literally drop-in replacements for Next.js itself, that essentially wraps the HTML video element from the browser and the image component from Next.js. Automatically, these components handle the URL generation and transformation logic, which makes it really easy for us to integrate it in our app, which is great. But also, you could use a ImageKit provider as well, so we could set the URL endpoint that we got initially. Also, we could set the URL endpoint, for instance, that we got over here, that we set it up over here, and we could also do the same by adding it here too. This allows us to avoid repeating these values in every component. So what we could instead also do is wrap this ImageKit provider throughout our application so we don't have to keep passing in the URL endpoint as well. Now, with ImageKit, you could do a lot. For example, you could handle responsive images, lazy loading images, lazy loading videos as well, background removal using AI. You could add overlays and all sorts of stuff that we're going to do in this specific tutorial. All right. So now that we have this, let me quickly walk you through the code base. All right, in terms of the code base, let's just start off with page.tsx. Page.tsx is the root page. It is where everything begins. So this renders a component called as video feed. And this specific video feed renders a video card. Now, as you can see, the video card that you see on the home page, which is, let's refresh it one more time. Right here is in fact this specific video card component itself. Now you can see this is an ImageKit URL endpoint that I have already set up, but this is where you would want to replace it with your specific endpoint. You don't want to use mine over here. And then the video path that we will talk about too. The next thing we need to do is, if you see the video feed and what we pass as sample videos, we need a bunch of sample videos that we want to display on the screen. So I have a few sample videos that I have already uploaded. So what we can do is, together, let's go to ImageKit and here go to the media library. And as you can see, these are all the different sample videos. They come with one sample video, but you could upload whatever small videos you have on your phone. Think of it as your TikTok feed and upload whatever video you want. Once you do that, you have to come back here and just update it. Again, we have hard coding a bunch of the stuff such as likes, comments, shares, and bookmarks, so you can do that. But just simply replace the video path with whatever path we have here. So I could just copy the URL, for example, and you can see this becomes the video path itself that you could replace it over here. Things like that. Alrighty, so now that we have this, you could also tweak the name of the display. As you know, I have a dog, his name is Kobe, and that's what I'm using. So alright, going back to the page, replacing sample videos, and then going back to the video feed component, which essentially has video card. And this specific video card is a simple video element, a raw MP4. There is no poster. There are these play pause icons here. There are some gradient overlays, and there is some creator info at the bottom, and all the way at the bottom we have the action bar as well, which shows likes, comments, shares, and bookmark. Again, this component is pretty straightforward. What we are going to focus on is like whenever we are rendering an image or a video, because if you think about it too, like our web is filled with these, and these are the biggest assets that could really impact your performance. So if we can fix that, then why not? So let's do that now. So to wrap the ImageKit provider, let's just go to layout, and then next let's just wrap it up in a provider. So we could just create a providers component and paste that in. It does not exist, so let's just go to component and let's create a new folder called providers, and over here let's just create a ImageKit provider.tsx and just create the component, and we need to import ImageKit provider. But for that, we need to install it. So I believe we have installed it, but ImageKit provider comes from ImageKit. So let's just go here and paste it. There we go. ImageKit provider. And this is also called that. So let's just call this providers, for example. And let's also rename this to be providers. And let's remove the image. And the fact that it comes from here, we don't have to worry about it. There we go. So now let's import it from providers. So now our entire application will have exactly that, an ImageKit provider. And now we need a URL endpoint, which is going to be our ImageKit endpoint over here. And this is going to be the exact endpoint that we set up in URL endpoints and ImageKit. So copy it from there. Remember that. All right. Now let's just test out that the integration works as expected. You can see our avatar here. You know, it's cool, right? It's amazing. However, we need a better avatar here to begin with. Like, it needs to be cropped and centered, and we don't want to use anything else, any other cropping tools for that. A user might upload whatever image they want, and you need to be able to crop it accurately. So for that, we are going to use the image component from ImageKit to do so. And let me show you how. And if we go back here, created info is where we have the image, for example. And here, let's just create a image component or import it from ImageKit/next. Now remember, since we already have a provider earlier with the ImageKit URL endpoint, we don't need to pass in a URL endpoint again. We could just pass in the avatar path here. And then we need another property called as transformation with 40, height 40, focus will be face. And now if we go back here, look at that. Now that image has a focus of face, which is so cool. So ImageKit is working as expected, which is amazing. Now if we head to profile, this has the same issue here with a profile being like that. So let's go to profile header, same idea. Import it with image from ImageKit, remove the endpoint, and now let's add a transformation of width 96, height 96, and focus as face. Boom, there we go. As simple as that. A simple change, and it is working as expected. And the beauty of this component is also that since it wraps the Next.js image component and adds additional capabilities, it's a lot more powerful as well. Now on the profile page, especially in TikTok, we don't have the videos playing. We essentially have like a thumbnail, like basically a snapshot of the video that we want to show the first couple seconds or whatever we select on the profile page. So in this case, we have like a blank screen because we don't have anything. We haven't built anything yet. So we need to build a thumbnail again, and we could do that from ImageKit URL itself. So if we go to the docs and look for thumbnail, you could easily create a video thumbnail by using IK thumbnail, which will automatically get the first frame from the video after the video resource URLs. We could easily just prepend IK-thumbnail and do so. So if we were to go back to our ImageKit, copy this URL and go here. As you can see, this is the MP4 file. Just like they said, if we copy this one and add that towards the end of the appended, this is the first frame in the video. Not super glamorous, my face, but this is the first frame. And this is exactly what will be shown on my feed. That's what we want. So going back here, that's what we'll implement. is this is the placeholder video grid that we have. So that's what we need to change. So let's replace this whole thing and create a new component called as profile grid and pass in sample videos just like that. Let's create a brand new component here. Call this profilegrid.tsx, which will have a simple component. Let's pass the video, for example, something like this. And here we can simply just add a class name of grid calls 3, gap 0.5, and loop through them. We don't need to do any of this. Let's just simply do something simple and add a div around it with aspect ratio of 16 and close it. Now we just need a key, or I guess we already have a key on top. So we don't need an additional div here. We could just add the div inside, remove this wrapper div. And like Dylan says, we don't need a box bracket either. Now source is simply going to be video.videopath. But remember I said that it's in fact going to have a IK thing that I told you about. Just do this. We don't need the video URL. All we need is video path /IK hyphen thumbnail.jpg. And we just need a transformation. And this is where we can get really creative. We could simply say start offset is going to be video.thumbnail time, and then width will be 200, height will be 356, for example. And now let's import it from ImageKit, for instance, and fix this. Now once we do, let's also show the view count here too. Whatever we had here earlier, let's add that in here. Let's just add 10K for now over here. Perfect. Alrighty, so now if we go back to profile grid, it's not important, so let's just go and import it. There we go. Go back here. It's saying that it's saying that it is missing a width property. It's correct. So if we go back here quickly, go here and add width of 200, height of 356. And there we go. It's displaying everything in a small thumbnail, but the thumbnails are working, so we can definitely fix that for sure. So if we go back here, we don't need this. There we go. It's working as expected. We just added a grid inside a grid. That's it. Now, like I mentioned, if we go back to the home page, we have this raw MP4 file, which is one quality level. Fast Wi-Fi users waste no bandwidth, but slow connections buffer endlessly. So we need to build our own HLS pipeline for this. However, we have ImageKit to help with that. We have to store 4 different quality variants of the same video. We have to generate our own manifest. So to solve for this, what we need to do is use the adaptive bitrate streaming from ImageKit. We could simply use this specific video player, or also we could pass in parameters to the URL as well to do so. We just need to pass in IK master with M3U8 and then pass in the transformations that we're looking for. That is, what are the different streaming resolutions that we need. Again, I'm going to show you all of this. There are 2 options. You could definitely use the video player SDK as well, or you could go manual with custom parameters when you want to construct manifest URLs directly. So let's construct it manually here. So if we close all of this right now, let's go to page and video feed and video card. This is where we would be implementing. First of all, we need a package called as hls.js. So over here we can say get hsl URL equals video path to be whatever video path we want. Now we just need to build a source, so we can return build source from ImageKit. And here we need to pass in the URL endpoint that we have. Then source will be video path. But over here we need to add again a parameter. Now remember how we added a thumbnail initially? We just need to pass in a IK master.m3u8. This is exactly what I showed you earlier. And also pass in the transformation that we're looking for as well. So that would include different streaming resolutions as well. So we are going to need 240. Again, whatever streaming resolutions you are looking for, ImageKit is going to pass that. So we can need all of these things as well. All right, now in the player itself, let's just do HLS src equal get the URL, and then add this specific code here. Now for this, we need to import hls.js and also need to create a ref for that as well. So over here, we could say const hls ref equals that's it. And at the bottom, we could just remove this source property altogether. So now, again, let's reset the server. Let's go here, go to the network tab. Let's first go back to no throttling for now, and let's refresh the page. And then here we are going to look for the property that we just set with UA. And now you can easily see that this is a manifest file, and literally the video for Amazon or the sample video has different variants. So like literally you can copy this URL, go here, and you can see a different version being added. And this is the manifest file that I told you about here as well, that it will create this HLS bitrate ladder, which is this manifest file, and depending on your device, your bandwidth, it's automatically going to serve that to you, for instance. So these are all the different files at different like resolutions that we specified as well. And we didn't need to do any of this. All we needed to do was pass in the source parameters, and that's it. And it automatically took care of that for us, which is insane. So now, remember that black sort of overlay, like some flashback? Let's just go to slow 3G, and I'm going to refresh the page here. So now, since I'm on a slow 3G network, let me just move this to the side, and let's refresh the page here on a slow 4G network. And now you can see once it loads, it automatically has loaded in a lower resolution device because I'm on a slow 4G network here. So that's what I mean. And it has automatically taken care of a lot for us, so we don't have to worry about it. And this is honestly really powerful, and a lot of these video streaming sites definitely use that, so I would recommend checking it out. So far, we have created video thumbnails, we have added adaptive bitrate streaming, but we could also add like overlays on top of video. We could resize and crop the videos, we could do audio transformations, trim videos, and so on. There's a lot that we could do with ImageKit. All right, so now, like I said, videos and thumbnails need different aspect ratios for different UI contexts. For example, in Instagram, we have a square grid versus on TikTok, we have a portrait. Sometimes we need a landscape preview. All these need different aspect ratios. We cannot keep uploading and re-uploading different sort of aspect ratio videos every time. We need a really easy way to resize and crop videos by passing in just a few parameters. Now, normally, if you were to do this, you would pre-generate multiple crops or do it server-side. But that's not feasible and scalable. So the solution is to use URL parameters control crop mode on the fly. And with AI coming in the picture, why even worry about doing it manually? We could use the focus mode, which is the automatic smart crop in ImageKit, where AI picks the most interesting regions for smart crop. You could also use maintain ratio crop strategy, which center crops to exact dimensions. And then you could also add a padding resize as well to add padding instead of cutting content. You could just use padding resize as well over here too. So all this would give us a really cool video. So if we go here and go to the Discover page, there's nothing right now. These are a bunch of transformation grids that I've left empty. This way I can show you all the different transformations we can do with ImageKit. Let's also go back to no throttling and close this network tab because we don't need it. And now let's go ahead and try it out. So first of all, let's close all of this. Go to the Discover page where we want this to be there. And here, let's just create video path equal, let's just do sample videos 0, or let's just do 1. And let's import sample videos that we have. And then we can pass that video path accordingly. Now we have the Discover grid here. Well, we could just move this video path in the Discover grid itself. Alrighty, let's import sample videos. And here, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, let's just replace this with transformations, which don't exist right now, but let's just map to it. This is gonna be transform with index, and let's add a div. Let's add a wrapping div here too. Alrighty. So transformations don't exist right now. Let's just create a transformations array, for example, and then go from there. And we don't need any of this, so let's remove it. Alright. Inside that, we just need a image component from ImageKit Next, and then add a source to be transform. And then we need to pass in a get source property, which we will do very soon. Let's also add a alt tag, which will be transform.label. And before we write any code further, let's just also add that here. So let me show you what we are talking about here. So we'll have a label. Let's just call it OG. And then we will have another property here. Let's just do the AI thing that I was telling you about, a smart crop. So let's just add some description here, which is going to be tr equals w400, which will be width and height of the image. And then here we pass in fo auto, which is what gives us the smart crop. Let's get source video path, the video path. And then here we could pass in the video path, except it will be thumbnail, not JPG. Now let's just pass in get transformation, and focus will be auto, height 400, width 400, and start offset 2. Perfect. We don't even need video path here. There we go. All right. So now that we have this, we have the transformations on adding it here. So we have alt tag. And then we just need a transformation to be transform.getTransformation, this function that we're going to call here. All right. And then let's also give it a class name to be wFullObjectCover. There we go. Save it. Perfect. So now if I go back here, refresh the page. So now let's also give it a width of 400, a height of 500 here too. If we take a look, it's not giving us an image here because Focus Auto only works on image transformations, not on video. So if we head back to our app, it works now. So now if we go back here, we go to video transformations. We can also add like some overlays on top of the video. For example, if you want to add like images over video, like for example, a branding, or if you want to, we could do that as well. So if we head back, let's just change this to 1. Let's create a more fun one, this video. And then I can just add Next.js course.dev on top as an overlay. So if we go back here, all we need is this one, tr, using the following syntax. So as you can see here, this hello has been added with these parameters, tr. So now let's get another one. Let's call this overlay. And let's just change this to tr. And then instead of adding it as a description here, we just need to add raw, alt text, hello, whatever. Here I'm just gonna say Next.js course.dev. We get back. Let's say we refresh the page. And there we go. It's very big. There we go. So it's sort of fitting in. But you get the idea. You could also just simply add text here as well and set the transformation. The other thing I also wanted to show was resizing and recropping, because like I said, Instagram has a square crop, TikTok has more of a portrait one. So we could just go to resize and crop and add that too. So if the original is this one, we could set W300 to make it that way, or IWDiv2 to make it this size, like half of the original, and so on too. So we could do a lot here. So let's try a squared crop, just like how we have with Instagram. So let's just do squared crop here, not overlay. And here we could just say tr w400. Let's just do h400. C maintain ratio, for example. Remove all of this. Remove this raw line as well. And then let's start the offset at 2, 400, 400. and let's just say crop to be maintain ratio. If we head back and refresh the page, you can sort of see that it's smaller. Let's make it 200. If I refresh the page, there we go. So this is how you could also just resize and crop it. You can do a lot of things here. Make your videos and images exactly how you want it to be. You could also show like trim videos as well and so on too. So there's a lot we could do with the API. Honestly, the world is your oyster. As developers, our job is to pick the right tools to build the best experience for the user. So stop trying to build complex image pipelines and video transcoders on your own Next.js servers. Offload the heavy lifting as much as possible. Again, massive thanks to ImageKit for sponsoring this build. Seriously, the free tier is incredibly generous, so go use it in your next project. Link is in the description below. And the source code for this entire clone is in the description as well. Now, I know this build is slightly different than a lot of the other builds that I'm trying to teach. However, I think this is exactly the content that will differentiate you in the world of AI and help you stand out as well. As next steps, if you are interested, then definitely check out this video on the dangerous flaw that every AI agent has. You will learn a lot, and it's a really good continuity after this specific build. As usual, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.